We are just days away from the NHL restart, with the play-in series set to begin this Saturday. Welcome into GroomersTake. We have 8 play-in preview matchups, predictions, all to look at. But first, we're going to start with the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers. Let's start by looking up front with these forwards. I'm looking at firepower for both teams. The Carolina Hurricanes have Svechnikov, Aho, Teravainen. Svechnikov taking that big step this year. Aho looks like an elite player. Teravainen has seemed like he's got the balance and the consistency to do it year in and year out. And the big piece that they added at the trade deadline, Vincent Trocheck. These guys are going to have to be the firepower for the Carolina Hurricanes, putting the puck in the net, and they're going up against a lot of firepower from the New York Rangers up front because of a guy like Panarin and Zibanejad. These guys have thrown the team on their back and said, let's go in the last couple months. You add those guys with Ryan Strome, who's had a heck of a year, heck of a bounce back, and Chris Kreider. Chris Kreider, this guy was going to get traded at the deadline. They said, nah, we're keeping him. And he's an absolute great player to have on your team up front. Look for him to be a big reason the New York Rangers compete in this series by both putting the puck in the net and grinding it in the corners. Firepower category, I'm going to give it to the New York Rangers simply because of Mika Zibanejad and Artemi Panarin, the way they have played in the last few months. They are on a heater. Let's look at the defense. Some really terrible news came down for the Carolina Hurricanes in the last week or so that Dougie Hamilton has a different injury and he won't be back for weeks to come, which probably means the whole playoffs, especially with the way our world is now with the pandemic. I don't see Dougie Hamilton coming back. It's a huge hit, but they still have some decent firepower on the blue line for the Carolina Hurricanes. A guy like Slavin, Sami Vatanen, not the same player he was 10 years ago or so, but he's been there before. He can put the puck in the net. Brady Shea, so weird, just gets traded from the Rangers, and now he gets to play against his old team. Those are guys you're going to look for from the D-line to put the puck in the net. Going against a young core of defensive players from the New York Rangers, I'm looking at Trouba, Fox, and D'Angelo. These are guys who are going to put the puck in the net, going to get the points for the Rangers on the blue line. They all average at least 50 points a season in 82 games. That's really good for a defenseman. And the best thing is about those 3 players is they're all on different lines. It's good balance for the New York Rangers. If we're looking at depth for both teams on the blue line with the Rangers, I'm looking at Mark Stahl. He's a veteran. He's played a lot of games. You can rely on him. You can count on him. He's going to help these young players grow. But other than that, we're looking at Brendan Smith. That's mostly of the depth that the New York Rangers have. Compared to the Hurricanes, they have some extreme depth. They got Joel Edmondson that they picked up this year. I really like this player. He went through it all last year at the St. Louis Blues. He's won a Stanley Cup, so now you're putting him into that locker room and putting him alongside guys like Jake Gardiner. Jake Gardner's been there before. He's had some problems, but he'll be okay. He's got a good role here with the Carolina Hurricanes on that third pairing with Trevor Van Riemsdyk, a guy who has also been on multiple teams. He's been in the playoffs, or has he been in the playoffs? I don't really remember. But he's another reliable third-line D pairing. So firepower, I'm giving it to the Rangers, but depth, I'm going to give it to the Canes. And overall, I will give a slight edge to the New York Rangers on the defensive lines. Dougie Hamilton not being available is a huge, huge, huge hit for the Carolina Hurricanes. I hope he gets better. Hope he comes back. I just don't see it happening this year. Diving into the goalies, we got Peter Mrazek and James Reimer for the Carolina Hurricanes. Mrazek, balanced, consistent guy. I mean, I wasn't a believer. I'm sure a lot of people weren't, but he was a big part of their run last year, and he's getting the job done. He's got James Reimer as a backup, another player who has experience. Hasn't seen a lot of success in the playoffs, but at least he's been there before, and when he's played for the Carolina Hurricanes this year, he's looked really good. Going against a New York Rangers goalie pairing who is absolutely studly in my mind. You got Henrik Lundqvist, a future Hall of Famer, backing up the next big thing in goalies, in my opinion, in Igor Shesterkin. Just came over this year from the KHL. He is going to be very good. He's got a very different approach to playing goalie. He looks very balanced and composed, and he's so young. I mean, this is his first taste. Now I think he's getting that starting role. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. I'm giving the goalie edge to the New York Rangers simply because of Lundqvist and his experience backing up the young kid who's got nothing but great success ahead of him, in my opinion, against Mrazek and Reimer. Both great goalies, but I'm giving the edge to the Rangers. Overall, I'm saying the Carolina Hurricanes, with the depth on forward and defense, are going to be able to take this series in 5 games. Yes, it's going to go the entire way. It's going to be tight. I can't wait to watch. It all starts this weekend. Carolina Hurricanes in 5 games. Thanks for tuning in to this little short segment. We got 7 more series to go. I hope to get to all of them in the next few days. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.